So welcome back to We're Not Really Here. I'm Natalie Pike and I'm joined by Shaun and Paul Dickov. It's half time in our Champions League semi-final, or quarter time if you like, half time in the first leg. Now it's currently Paris Saint-Germain 1, Manchester City 0, but I've got a good stat for you that's going to make you all feel better. You know I love a stat. So City have won 5 of the last 6 Champions League games where we've gone behind.
Yes, that's so.
You're having that one, Shaun?
I'm having that one.
Does that make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah, I feel okay. I mean, they have, for me, the opening 10 to 14 minutes, what I anticipated, dominating possession, moving the ball. Never really, even though we had that possession, we never really sort of threatened to go, but I liked it because it was everybody getting a touch, everybody getting involved, so everyone's confidence gets to a level. So that I did like. They start to get into the game, and as we're seeing Neymar get into the game more, and Mbappe, when you see those two sort of do 1 and 2 little 1-2s, we saw it, Paul and I looked at each other down in the corner flag, doing a 1-2, that's where their confidence starts to come. Because they got that one goal, they start getting a little bit more confident. So, it's about not allowing them to do those sort of things, because Neymar will just go like this, and Mbappe will go with that, and they will just really go to a level.
Yeah, it did feel like we started really well, but then obviously their goal that they got in the 15th minute from Marquinhos from that header. Paul, could you give us a little chat about zonal marking? So why do we do it? What is the benefits of it, and what went wrong in this occasion?
Yeah, I think the reason why we do it is because we're not the tallest team. A lot of teams that do go zonal tend to have more shorter players than they do taller players, if you like. And, we have sort of Rodri, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, and I think it's Kyle as the 4 that in the 6-yard box that look to go and attack the ball, and then we have sort of 3 smaller ones that are picking up, but they're there to pick up the second pieces. And look, zonal marking, we've been great from set pieces defending them, so it's obviously worked, but it does put question marks in players' head. You've seen when Marquinhos has scored, he sort of ran off Gundogan a little bit. Because Gundogan's not picking him up, he's leaving him then for Rodri to pick him up. Rodri can't see him because he's coming from behind him, and you've got to say, look, it's a good set piece, it's obviously something they've worked on, but for me, I'm a little bit old school. I've always been like, that's your man, you go and pick them up, and then there's no grey area. Sometimes with zonal marking, it does leave that little bit of doubt, as in who's picking them up and who's going to go with them, who's actually going to head the ball, that sometimes you don't need.
Yeah, What I would only slightly disagree from a zonal point of view. I think when teams do zonal, for me, why teams concede, because the player wherever the ball's being won is not thinking in a circumference area, 2 yards in front of me, 2 yards behind me, 2 yards to my right, 2 yards to my left is my area, meaning the ball comes in here, I have to win the ball that's there. I have to win a ball that's there. I have to win a ball that's there. Some players, when it's zonal, are just thinking, well, I'm okay here. And a player could come just right here and win it. And therefore, that becomes, where Paul says people dislike the zonal. So if you're marking a player, then this player doesn't win the ball because, I've got to go win it. And that's the difference when players do zonal. They sometimes switching off. Sometimes there's a player that's coming on the blind side, not knowing he's coming, and then he ends up and appears in his area. Whereas if he's thinking, I've got to win this ball that's within 2 to 3 meters, then they just aggressively go and win it. So it's sort of
there's no doubt that gave PSG a lift, but because up until that point we were dominating, they had a couple of chances afterwards. But I was slightly worried in the middle of the first half because, as Shaun said, Neymar especially was getting into the game a lot more. Verratti, Di Maria, the players who like to be on top. But then sort of the last 10-15 minutes gave me a lot of confidence. We didn't let our heads go down. We started moving the ball a lot quicker for a start. As much as with possession the first 10-15 minutes, there was no real intent with it. The last 10-15 we're moving the ball quicker, and we started pressing again. We started winning the ball higher up the pitch, and with chances that came from it, So going into the second half, I'm still confident.
Good. I always like it when you're confident. I agree as well. In my notes, at about 35 minutes, I'd written down Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden not getting much of the ball. And then in that last 10 minutes, they seemed to start getting it much more. And that's when we started getting the couple of chances that we had.
They did, but they were getting it higher up the pitch as well. I just felt the first sort of half of the half, if you get what I like. We're keeping possession and we're breaking, but we're allowing PSG to get back into shape, which they were doing really well. They were getting lots of body behind the ball. When we get Phil, even Bernardo, Riyad, and especially Kevin on the ball quicker, further up the pitch, they look a bit suspect defensively.
And then we did have the best chance of the half was Phil Foden, so the 42nd minute. Tell us about that chance, Shaun.
Yes, I think it was Bernardo Silva. Well, actually, City's doing a press. It's a loose pass by them. Bernardo Silva picks it up. He lays it square. And when I look at Phil Foden finishing this, I mean, it's a good strike. It's just straight at the keeper. A Phil Foden that's fluid in his game and in his rhythm and in his confidence. Paul and I looked at each other and thought, he hasn't placed that. He's going for power. So with him going for power, it's going straight at the keeper. And you know, we just touched on it. Him not having the ball as much, so he's not in the game, flying in his full sort of confidence. And I think when that chance comes to him, because he's not been in the game, I think if he's been in the game, he's been fluid. I think his selection or choice of shot is different. I think he tries to place it rather than go for power. What do you think, Paul?
I think the ball from Bernardo was slightly behind him, and his first touch got stuck under his feet a little bit. I think what he wanted to do, I'm being overcritical here, but because they're so fantastic players, and as he's run onto, the balls came back in his left foot a little bit, so his touches went there, where if it had been in front of him, he automatically takes his touch out his feet, and it gives him a better opportunity to place it then. Because it's stuck under him, I think it was Marquinhos has closed him down really quickly. He's then got to take the shot early.
Yeah.
But look, in that position, when you're getting closed down, all you can do is hit the target, you know.
Yeah.
And just think with the quality that he's shown recently, sometimes you expect a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Phil, we have to get Phil in the game, because then it becomes less expectation and pressure on Kevin De Bruyne, because we know Kevin De Bruyne score goals and could do those assists. But if we get him running off and getting involved, we know what he can produce in terms of goals and creativity as well.
I just wonder if, going into the second half, because predominantly the false nine has been Bernardo, or Kev, or both of them sometimes, playing two of them, and no Riyad's tend to, and Phil have kept the positions. I just wonder if they'll start interchanging a little bit more, just to try and move the PSG defence around.
Any chance you think we might bring on Jesus or Aguero and change up the system?
I think at the minute Pep will be fine. You know, there's one goal in it. We're away from home. We're dominating the game. We're still looking as if we're creating. We just need to be a bit more careful in set pieces. So I would be very surprised anytime soon if we made any changes.
You can have a look at some of the stats from that first half. So 45 minutes into 180 minutes of Champions League semi-final. Let's have a look at the stats from the first half. Oh, crikey, in the studio, I've not got my glasses on. I can't see that.
Yeah, well, again, we're talking about 2 attempts there. I think that, for me, is where we had one to improve, because no surprise, we're dominating possession. I think there was a period where they dominated possession, which has brought that number down, because I would have thought initially we were up to 60-odd%. But when they come into the game a little bit, this is where they started doing a couple of 1-2s and started to get a bit of confidence. But I think it's the attempts on target. If we get a few more of them, I think this is where we'll start to, our game will come into it more.
I think on the flip side as well, you know, in 45 minutes, very rarely do you see a team having 9 attempts on goal against us. You know, I know we're up against a quality team, 4 on target. But then it's just, for me, look, it's just moving the ball that little bit quicker. You know, it's repeating ourselves, getting Kevin, getting Phil, get Bernardo on the ball further up the pitch and push them back a little bit more. So I'll say it again, I don't think they're great defensively, and there's going to be chances for us there in the second half.
Oh, we're getting some great stats here. Teams top 5 passing. Gundogan, 39 passes, 98%. Oh, look at that. Marquinhos, 100% pass conversion rate there in that first half. But you can see there Gundogan, Rodri, which sort of shows you the sort of battles that have been going on in the middle of the pitch there. And distances covered again. Rodri, Gundogan, Foden's still up there. He's cracking on with 105 kilometres now for the Champions League this season. Team averages, we're running more than them. We have had more possession though, so that makes sense.
We have, and that's nothing more than what I would have expected. You know, we know we want to dominate. We know we want to keep it, and you know the stats just show you that, you know, going back to the touches in the ball and pass percentage, PSG's 2 centre halves are the top players, which has shown you that we're letting the centre halves have it, but with a view to going and pressing them. Marquinhos is decent in the ball. Kimpembe, I'm not too sure about. You know, so maybe it's a tactic to let the 2 centre halves have the ball and maybe try and press them on it from there.
Yeah, but me, speaking of Marquinhos, I said it because I know he's a threat. But he's had a couple situations on corners, and I think that's something that will be addressed. I'm sure, it'll be side on, knowing that a body's going to come, so we're aware of that and dealing with it. So, as much as we can say, wow, so-and-so had him and he ran onto him, I think Pep will be addressing that, saying we need to know that a body's coming, because we know the threats that they got up top, but we shouldn't be conceding on a corner. I think Pep will be disappointed in that part.
What do you think the team talk is right now?
Just more of the same. But yeah, again, win the ball high up the pitch. You look at the chances we've had. The one Bernardo had when he slid in at the back post, that came from winning the ball high up the pitch. The Foden chance came from winning the ball high up the pitch. I can't believe we've not even spoke about it. I thought it was a penalty on Bernardo Silva. I know they were talking about the high foot in it. Marquinhos just came right through the back of him and pushed him down. But yet again, that came from us winning the ball back when they had it in their third. And, we keep pressing, and we will keep pressing. We'll get our chances, I'm sure of it.
I think Pep will be looking Gundogan, making those runs in between centre-backs, Bernardo Silva, and I think also with Phil and Mahrez, looking for them to run off the line a few times. There were a couple of balls that were misplaced that were aimed for Mahrez. They were inaccurate, and we don't often see that. But I think getting those guys moving off the line when the centre midfielders got the ball, making those blind runs, because then we'll start to address receiving the ball somewhere in around the byline to put it across the box then for that player that's filling that space.
So second half will be coming in just a few minutes. Before then, we're going to have another look at our mystery blue, so you know how much we love this. Now, you've been sending in loads of your suggestions to social media as well, using the hashtag WNRH, and I'm going to ask Shaun and Paul in a minute as well who they think it is. But let's have another little look now. So this is our mystery blue. Okay, so we've got that away shirt that we had with the dark blue and the lighter blue, and we've got, so the clues I'm picking out here is the hair style, where the hair's just at the front of the head. Oh gosh, I've got two in my head, but I can't think if one of them had that hairstyle. Paul, what are you thinking?
I think it's Super Mario.
Okay. Okay, Shaun?
Well, I was definitely wrong with Dixon, because when I see that, I'm like, that's not Dixon at two. I'm actually going to piggyback on Paul Dickov there, and I'm going to go with Mario there. I think you're right there.
I think it's Mario as well. My first thought was Nigel de Jong, but then I don't remember him having the hair at the front. Did he have the hair at the front? I can't remember.
Did he have hair?
Did he have hair?
I can say that. Did he have hair like me?
So that was what came to my head, but I think Mario Balotelli. But you guys have been sending in all of your thoughts at home as well. We love your suggestions. So some of the suggestions that have been coming in. Julie Tomlinson said, the mystery blue Shaun Wright Phillips. I don't think Shaun ever had that hair.
I don't think he was ever that tall.
He can say it because he's similar. We also got Peter Burke saying Joleon Lescott. Mike Ariti saying Balotelli. We've got Kevin Hughes. Mystery blue is Mario Balotelli. I like that, Kevin. Fish Sticks. Great name. You got no picture though. You missed a trick there. I reckon it's Balotelli. Tom Worrell says Balotelli. Justin Young, Balotelli. There's a theme here. Carl Sproston, Balotelli. Clara Seuss. The mystery blue is Balotelli, Super Mario. The Beautiful South, Balotelli. Theo Seuss, Balotelli. So, we've got a weighing there into Balotelli. So thank you for sending in your suggestions. If you want to know who it is, you're going to have to come back here at full time, and we're going to tell you at full time who the mystery blue is. And as always, keep your messages coming into us, hashtag WNRH. We love to see your pictures, how you're watching the game. Oh, and I've got to tell you about this amazing mug as well. I was going to put a brew in it and I forgot. What? Look at this awesome mug. Mad for it. I'm going to go fill this up now and watch the second half with a lovely brew. Mad for it, because obviously four League Cups in a row for us. So I think the teams are coming out now. So just a quick second half prediction from you, Shaun.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to look to press a bit more. I'm still thinking that we've got 2 goals in us.
Yes.
At least.
You heard it here. 2 goals at least. Right, I'm going to go and get a Brunardo in my Mad for It mug. Enjoy the second half. Let's hope we're talking about some away goals. Come back here at full time, where you'll get instant and the best City analysis from these guys. enjoy the second half.